When a client approaches us with a study that involves multiple respondent types, we're always making a decision whether we should be doing just a multi-stakeholder study or an integrated study. Now, a multi-stakeholder study is one where we're kind of doing side-by-side research. We're really interviewing several types of respondents and kind of producing several reports, but maybe folding them into one to provide our client with what did they say.
Yeah, very much so. I think the key difference for me is with an integrated study, you're able to reach insights that are more synthesized. By integrating your data collection across these multiple stakeholders and doing it in a way that they are feeding off of one another, you're able to get to that point and they really end up being more complementary to one another.
Let's talk a little bit about the studies themselves and how they're set up.
So I think, the first thing you have to do, the first thing you have to look at is what situations are these appropriate for. Market research studies where you're looking at some sort of future scenario, trying to evaluate what's going to happen, is really the best way to think about it. You're really looking at a situation where there are unknowns, multiple players, so really an integrated approach allows you to take what you learn and really apply it as you go.
Right. Another one that comes to my mind is when physicians or HCPs are evaluating a new treatment modality. So a new therapy is coming out, and we usually ask, just evaluate it on the clinical options, on the clinical value. But in this type of study, we can include payers so that if we have payer input, we can actually provide a report that takes away or reduces some of that caveat of, well, here's the findings, but we really didn't know what the payers had to say about it.
Yeah, and I think the other side of that's true as well. When payers think about a new treatment or something along those lines, they're going to be looking at maybe particularly what KOLs are thinking about this new treatment. So maybe a situation where you get payers and KOLs in a room together and have them talk about it and really kind of go through it such that they are getting each other's feedback simultaneously and reacting to that. There's other situations where a more step-by-step approach might be more applicable, where maybe you talk to payers first, then talk to HCPs, or vice versa. So everyone's tailored, but the bottom line is that you're really trying to figure out what best fits this scenario and how can we structure the research in a way that's going to get that complementary effect.
So, it's funny, what you just mentioned is exactly what I'm thinking. For example, when a new therapy is moving from second line to first line or third line to second line, maybe we interview payers first, find out how would they react to moving this therapy up, and then interview physicians, give them the information we heard, then feed that back to payers so that our whole purpose is to provide our clients with a picture beginning to end of a really comprehensive answer to their question. So one of the things that we do to ensure that we're doing that is we've done a lot of these studies, and throughout our time doing so many of these studies, we've been able to develop a best practices way of doing things. Now, every study is custom designed, so it's not a cookie cutter method. However, we always recommend an extended kickoff meeting. We really have to have all the internal players involved to gain alignment on objectives, to ensure who are the audiences, what are the objectives. And then going from that, we always want to be sure that every step along the way, since these are often multi-phase studies, we're at least doing frequent check-ins to ensure that at the end, what we have provided is a really comprehensive look at whatever our research question is, from study design all the way through to final deliverable.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key. We want to make sure that the research gets to a point where the insights we can provide to our clients are actionable and really fully fleshed out, such that they can take that within their internal teams and really use it and get something out of it.